Hello and congratulations on checking out your Apertura Library Telescope. Exploring the night sky with a telescope is one of the best ways to experience amateur astronomy. So in today's video, we're going to start by getting to know each part of the telescope and how it works. And then we're going to go over a very simple setup process to get you ready for viewing out under the night sky. And then finally, we are going to show you exactly how to use the library telescope. So grab your telescope and follow along. So we want to welcome you to our full breakdown and tutorial of the Apertura Library Telescope. In this section here, we're going to be talking about each component of the telescope and how they all work together. First, the telescope itself. The library telescope design was created by the famous mathematician Isaac Newton nearly 400 years ago. Known as a Newtonian, this telescope tube, also called an optical tube, uses reflective mirrors to form an image that you can see through an eyepiece. Now, what makes this telescope design unique is that the eyepiece sticks out from the side rather than from the back like you see in more common representations of telescopes. The eyepiece included with the library telescope is a zoom eyepiece. This means you can change magnifications without swapping eyepieces in and out. On the side of the eyepiece itself, you'll see a few numbers from 7 to 21 and a small triangle showing you the current setting. Turn the grip toward the smaller number to make objects appear larger, and towards the larger number to make them appear smaller. To help identify what magnification these numbers represent, we've included an eyepiece magnification chart directly located on the base of the telescope. Next, let's talk about the focuser. The focuser often sits underneath the eyepiece, and it allows you to move the eyepiece in and out to ensure your views are in focus. Simply rotate the gray knob left or right to bring the focuser away from or closer towards the telescope. Next, the red dot finder scope. A red dot finder is a useful tool that helps you aim the telescope at the object you want to view. Unlike the view through the eyepiece, the view through the red dot finder will not make objects appear larger. This makes it easier to aim the telescope at objects without needing to search for them through the telescope. Now, we're going to show you exactly how to align your finder scope with your telescope here in an upcoming section. But right now, let's move on to the dust cap. This simple dust cap fits snug over the opening of your telescope to protect the optics when you are finished viewing. Keeping the dust cap installed after you are finished viewing will indeed protect the mirror, but it will also prevent dust from settling on it as well. On the front of the dust cap, you'll also notice two smaller caps. When you're viewing bright objects like the moon, keep the dust cap on, but remove one of these smaller caps to reduce the brightness and improve contrast. Next, let's move on to the foundation of the telescope itself, the base. The optical tube assembly and all of its components are mounted on a tabletop style base that can be moved in two directions: altitude, which is up and down, and azimuth, which is left and right. It even has a tension knob for more precise and comfortable movement. So now that we understand the components of the library telescope in more detail, let's talk about a couple accessories that come with it. With your library telescope, you'll receive an accessory bag that holds the Apertura Ember red LED headlamp and a USB charging cable. When you're out viewing under the night sky, any bright light, say from your phone or maybe a car light, is going to ruin that nighttime adaptation. The Apertura Ember headlamp is going to ensure the best viewing experience outside under dark skies without ruining that night sky adaptation. At this point in the video, we understand how each component of the telescope works, and we've talked about the accessories that come with it. In this next section, we're going to talk about setting up your telescope and aligning your red dot finder so you can be ready to start viewing out under the night sky. When you choose to set up your library telescope, try to make sure you're setting up under a nice clear patch of sky. Open horizons without buildings or tall trees is a great spot. If you are limited to a smaller patch of sky, that is perfectly fine and still a great place to get started. The next important thing is to make sure that you are set up on a nice, flat, stable surface. Now, for this next step, we highly recommend that you align your red dot finder outside before it gets dark so you can see your environment. On the red dot finder, you'll find three knobs. The small knob on the right controls the power and the brightness. The knob on the bottom moves the red dot up and down. And the knob on the front left moves the red dot left and right. First, turn the finder on and adjust the brightness so the dot is easy to see during the daytime. Now choose a large, easy to identify object nearby, such as a distant telephone pole, a sign, or a building. After this, gently adjust the eyepiece to the 21mm position and then point to that object. You want to center the object in the eyepiece, and keep in mind the view will appear flipped, and that's completely normal. If needed, bring the object into focus by turning the focus knob until the image looks sharp. If your object is too close, you may not be able to achieve focus. Once centered, gently lock the telescope in place using the large knob on the right side of the base, then double check that that object is still centered inside your eyepiece. With the telescope locked in on that object, look through the red dot finder and use the two adjustment knobs to move the red dot until it sits directly on the same feature that you centered in the eyepiece. Now after this last step, make sure to turn off the red dot finder scope. Sometimes you might forget, it'll sit on during the day and possibly throughout the entire night if it's cloudy, and the battery will slowly drain. So make sure you turn that off after you've aligned your finder scope. So with all of that being said, it is time to move on to the next section where we teach you how to use your telescope under the night sky. We'll see you out there. All right, so before we begin our observing session, we're going to start out with a brief little checklist just to ensure that we get the most out of our Apertura Library Telescope. Start out by making sure the Apertura headlamp is set to its brightest setting so you can safely see your surroundings. Bring the Apertura Library Telescope outside and place it on a flat, stable surface with a clear view of the night sky. Next, we can adjust your red headlamp to one of the lower settings. You want just enough light to move around comfortably while keeping your eye's night adaptation intact. Walk around the telescope, get familiar with the area that you're in, and make sure everything feels safe and accessible. Now it's time to check the red dot finder. Turn it on and adjust the brightness so that the red dot is easy to see, but not so bright that it distracts from the stars behind it. Remember, the finder has already been aligned during our daytime setup, so there's no need to adjust anything here. After this, gently adjust the eyepiece to the 21mm position. This is your widest, easiest view and is the best place to start for finding objects in the night sky. Finally, remove the dust cap. At this point, everything is in place, powered on, and ready to go. The telescope is prepared, your eyes are adapted to the dark, and you're ready to begin observing. So let's discuss the first objects that we'll be viewing through the Apertura Library Telescope. We're going to start off by viewing the moon. Now, the moon may not be available to you at the time that you're watching this video, and that's okay. Simply skip this section and we'll join you at the deep sky observation section. Right now, the moon is a gorgeous thin sliver that's setting over the western horizon behind me and is a perfect time to view its craters. Let's go ahead and get started. First, loosen or tighten the tension knob so it feels natural when you move your telescope up and down. From here, simply point your telescope in the general direction of the moon. When you get close, we recommend looking through the red dot finder scope to ensure it's centered in your field of view. If we have properly aligned our red dot finder scope, we should have a perfect view of the moon through our eyepiece. Be sure to move the focuser in or out for a sharp, clear image, and to increase your magnification, gently rotate the eyepiece from your starting position to the preferred magnification. So there is one important thing that we'd like to mention here, so we apologize for the brief interruption. As you're viewing these objects, they slowly move across the night sky, thus will slowly move out of the field of view of your eyepiece. Let's say you're looking at the moon. Over the course of maybe 30 or 45 seconds, the moon will slowly drift out of your field of view. So you're going to want to grab your telescope and slowly recenter it so that the moon is right in the middle of your eyepiece. These typically take very small, gentle movements with your telescope. All right, let's go back to viewing the night sky. So in this section, we're going to show you how to explore the night sky via a method called star hopping, and we're going to be using the Orion Nebula for our first example. Now, the Orion Nebula, because it is a winter object, might not be visible to you, and that's okay because you can use this star hopping method to find any object in the night sky, not just the Orion Nebula. So what exactly is star hopping? Star hopping is the process of using bright, easy to identify stars as reference points and then moving from reference point to reference point in small steps in order to locate the deep sky object, whether it be a galaxy, a nebula, or a star cluster. Before we begin star hopping, we strongly recommend using a free smartphone app like Stellarium. If you have access to a smartphone, apps like Stellarium help you understand what's currently visible in the night sky, and they give you a great starting reference. If Stellarium is not an available option, you can also look up the desktop version of Stellarium using either your own computer or a library computer if they offer them to the public. You can also check out other resources that your library may provide, like physical star charts and even astronomy books. Now, with that said, let's look at the Orion Nebula. To find the Orion Nebula, we must first find the constellation of Orion, named for the ancient Greek hunter and son of Poseidon, who was immortalized in the stars after his death. The three bright stars of Orion's belt make an excellent starting point. Once you've identified the belt, look to the star on the left called Alnitak. From Alnitak, look directly under Orion's belt to a short line of stars known as Orion's sword. One of the objects in the sword will appear as a fuzzy patch rather than a sharp point of light. That fuzzy patch is the Orion Nebula. So grab your telescope and use your red dot finder and place your red dot on the star Alnitak. Slowly move the telescope downwards towards the middle of Orion's sword. Once the fuzzy glow of the Orion Nebula is centered in your eyepiece at 21 millimeters, bring it into focus and enjoy the view. So now that we've seen the Orion Nebula, it's time to take a look at something a bit more challenging, something that you can't see with your naked eye, Bode's Galaxy. Now, depending on your resource material, you may see this galaxy referred to as Messier 81. Bode's Galaxy is located in the constellation of Ursa Major, which most of you may recognize as the Big Dipper. If we take a look at the Big Dipper, many observers use the bright stars Phecta and Dubhe as reference points. These two stars form a line that points toward this galaxy. Start by identifying these two stars and take note of the distance between them. Dubhe sits roughly halfway between Phecta and the location of Bode's Galaxy. Using your red dot finder, guide your telescope along that line towards where that galaxy might lie. If the galaxies don't appear in the eyepiece right away, slowly search the area in small circles. Galaxies can be faint, and patience is key. When you find them, they will appear as soft smudges of light, very different from stars. Once you're finished with your viewing session, make sure to turn that red dot finder scope off to preserve the battery for your next clear night out. Alright, so that concludes the review and tutorial on the Apertura Library Telescope. By the end of this video, we hope that you've learned everything about the telescope and its components, how to properly set it up, and finally how to use it out under the night sky. As we mentioned before, using a telescope is one of the most rewarding ways to explore the night sky. And to get the best experience, we also recommend that you explore your local library for other sources and information on all things astronomy. Books, star charts, encyclopedias are really going to help deepen your knowledge of the universe and everything in it. So when it comes down to looking through your Apertura Library Telescope, you know exactly what it is you're looking at. So with that, we hope that you enjoy your next clear night out under the stars. Thanks for tuning in, and clear skies.